McAllister. Miss Crimson is here to see you.
Well, it's about time. Show her in. The eagle has landed.
Here, this is the last runaway dog story I'll ever write for this stupid paper. I quit.
Nice to see you too, Meg. Well, for your next assignment, how would you like to travel to faraway countries and become a worldwide celebrity?
I said Did you mention faraway countries?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. The Donovan Corporation recently acquired the prestigious World Geographic magazine, and I suggested your name for a very special project.
World Geo? Wow. Okay, what's the catch?
Hey, no catch. Here's your plane ticket. You're leaving for Africa tomorrow night. We made arrangements to have a boat waiting to take you and your team to, well, you'll see, somewhere in the jungle. You'll have to find a man who goes by the name of SteppenWolf. Check your email for additional instructions once you get there. Yes, it's all going according to plan.
Are you sure you don't need any help with those bags?
Thanks, but this equipment, it's extremely valuable, and it must be handled with the utmost precision.
Sure, whatever. Here's our boat.
You are Miss Crimson? You don't seem like the sort of person who'd go chasing after giant reptiles. Where's the rest of your team?
Giant reptiles?
This walking pile of luggage back here is the rest of my team.
Well, if everyone's here, hop in. I'd like to reach our destination before sundown. The sacred lawns are no place to hang around during a night of sacrifice. Unless you want to become the sacrifice, that is.
I'm Meg Crimson. I'm a reporter for World Geo magazine. I was about to quit when my boss, McAllister, suddenly offered me this incredible assignment, a series of online reports about mythical beasts and monsters. As part of my assignment, I had to find Alan Kane, a secretive self-trained expert in cryptozoology, whatever that is, who lives in the jungle and calls himself SteppenWolf. My assistant, Derek, and I were ambushed on our first day in the Congo. I managed to escape, but Derek wasn't so lucky. He was earmarked as the main course in a ghastly sacrificial ritual. This is when the mysterious SteppenWolf entered the picture. Our relationship got off to a rocky start. He's about as unpredictable as a wild animal himself. Still, he managed to neutralize the Mokele Membe while I freed Derek from his precarious position. In the end, we got away safe and sound, but I can't help but feel that there's more to this thing than meets the eye. Maybe I'll find out more in the Himalayas. Yes, I know. Oh, you can't imagine what we had to go through to get that footage. What? Well, no, I tried, but for some obscure reason, he just wouldn't accept your generous offer. Yes, we'll start looking for the Yeti as soon as we get there.
Okay, Meg. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Yes, we know what you're capable of. I'm afraid we'll have to call off this whole masquerade.
It doesn't matter. Mr. Donovan anticipated this turn of events. Phase 1 of operations served its purpose. Now it's time to move on to Phase 2.
Already? What about Miss Crimson?
Miss Crimson? Who is Miss Crimson? Never heard that name before.
I didn't think it could get any worse. McAllister got on my case about my report on the Mokele Membe, and then he shipped me to Tibet to hunt for the Yeti without a moment's rest. And of course, SteppenWolf's refusal to help us didn't make things any easier. In the Himalayas, Derek and I were attacked by a heavily armed Chinese militia. I got away, but Derek wasn't so lucky. I found refuge in a nearby monastery, where who should I run into again but the mysterious SteppenWolf, the last person I would ever expect to find there. SteppenWolf's sudden return was suspicious, but not as out there as Derek's return from being dead. I knew then that I was in the middle of something a lot bigger than I thought. I was beginning to understand SteppenWolf's reservations. The mystery surrounding the X-creatures was about to be uncovered.
I guess this is where your Secrets of the Wild adventure comes to an end.
Yeah, I'll bet. Can't believe I got hooked into a sick joke like that.
I'm sorry. That's just the way Donovan is, especially when the X-creatures are concerned.
But why? Why should he care?
Oh, long story.
Try me.
It began years ago, when old Edward Donovan decided to invest his billions in a program only he was crazy enough to undertake. The oldest desire of humanity, to extend the limits of life expectancy.
Obviously he didn't succeed. He's been dead for years.
Right. But then his son, Reggie, took interest in the project, and trouble began.
How does all this relate to the X-creatures?
Cryptozoology studies creatures that seem to outlast their own species. Shelley Thompson, the leader of the X-creatures project, thought they carried some sort of longevity gene.
I want to talk to that woman. Where can I find her?
At the bottom of the sea, off the coast of Antarctica, where her plane crashed years ago. Anyway, the company shut the project down during the last recession. I'd like to know why Donovan has brought it back.
I think I know just the person who could tell us. Welcome to the final episode of Secrets of the Wild, where we will expose some pretty smelly corporate crap.
Meg! What are you doing here?
I felt like chatting a little. Just you and me.
You've always been my favorite. Don't you know?
Spare me. Just blurt it out. Why?
I had no choice. Donovan is a very powerful man. Well, he promised and threatened, but if I had known how far it would go...
You are pitiful, especially when you're drunk. Well, let's get out of here and you can make it up to me by telling me everything you know about Donovan and his pet project. While I was in New York City to clear things up with McAllister, we were attacked by the albino, Donovan's hired killer. It was becoming crystal clear that I had entangled myself in a terrible web of deceit, and that my recent actions had made me Donovan's #1 target. Not without qualms, I decided to strike at the heart of the conspiracy by confronting Donovan himself. With the invaluable help of Octavio Sanchez, one of the Dark Project scientists, I managed to sneak into the megacorporation's headquarters near Austin, Texas. I finally got to meet Donovan. He wouldn't reveal his motives, but at least he didn't try to shoot me. Meanwhile, deep in Antarctica, SteppenWolf continued the inquiry on the X-Creatures Project's old abandoned settlement. After a tough fight, he managed to capture a hideous beast created by one of the project's failed genetic experiments. Little did Dr. Kane know that this monster, the Haruka, was hiding an even more troubling secret.
Keep a close eye on our new X-team. We all knew that SteppenWolf is a difficult one, but the little journalist with Bambi eyes, she's even worse.
Don't worry. I know from the Congo how these two think.
Since our last attempt to get the Kraken's blood was such a disaster, this time it's imperative that we trick SteppenWolf into getting the missing gene for us. They will probably start by finding an engineer there. We know that man is developing a device that should allow us to reach the deep of the ocean. I want you to get everything that relates to this.
Don't worry. I'm a fellow seaman. They don't call me captain for nothing.
Why didn't you tell me Shelley Thompson is your wife?
Probably because I wanted to leave this part of my life in the past. I have a bad feeling about this. Donovan's up to no good, and he's got us right in the middle of it.
So what's the plan?
I think we're going to have to split up once we're in Bike Bay. It's our only chance to shake that gorilla off.
Don't worry, I will take care of the captain. He probably can't resist poor helpless girls like me.
Good. I'll go see Olaf Ardvor at his house near the cliffs. Meanwhile, find Warehouse 12 near the docks. I will meet you there.
What are you two up to?
We were talking about those fishermen. We might need to ask them some questions about the Kraken. They're a bit intimidating, don't you think?
Hey, sweetie, please forget. I'm a fellow seaman. I speak their language.
Some doubt remained as to the Haruka's true identity. Was it really Shelley Thompson, SteppenWolf's wife, who had inflicted this horrible transformation upon herself? If so, Donovan said there might be a chance to bring her back to humanity. This time, Donovan had us in an iron grip. We had no choice but to help him gather the missing X-Creature genes, no matter what his true motives were. It is in this dark frame of mind that we left for the fjords of the Norwegian coast to seek out the terrible Kraken. First, we had to meet Olaf Hargvor, an old acquaintance of SteppenWolf, who had developed a special submarine for this very purpose. The job would be difficult. In addition to the imbecile captain whom Donovan had saddled us with, a dangerous eco-terrorist group called the Dagger League had vowed to keep us from spoiling the secret of the giant squid. But for SteppenWolf, the true challenge of this adventure remained the mysterious creature hiding in the depths of the Norwegian Sea, a cold, inhospitable world hiding the savage and merciless keeper of the deep, better known as the Kraken.
Sweet thing. I'm one small blood sample away from solving all my problems. Then everything will happen in your precious little veins. So, my little Puerto Rican friend, you've finally seen the light. Well, that's good, because I don't have a minute to spare, and I can't afford to trust SteppenWolf or his pet reporter. I desire to see the Chupacabra again, and this is the only reason why I have agreed to collaborate. Well, your motivations are irrelevant. What matters is that you are the only scientist who's been able to approach this monster. So go and bring his blood back to me.
I'm looking forward to seeing this creature. I've often wondered if it wasn't a mere tourist trap, like Nessie, for instance.
Of course, if the great SteppenWolf hasn't found the beast yet, it must be because it doesn't exist.
I understand your skepticism. However, before you seek the Chupacabra, you must know the intricacies of Puerto Rican society.
What do you mean?
On this island, there are powers, occult forces that only members of the Brotherhood can understand.
By then, Donovan Jr. had but one obsession: find the last creature to complete the serum. If we wanted to solve the Shelley Thompson mystery, we had no choice but to comply with that madman's wishes and follow Octavio Sanchez to San Juan, Puerto Rico, to search for the Chupacabra. Before he vanished, Sanchez warned us about a dangerous cult terrorizing Puerto Rican society. With help from a boy named Pedro, we were able to follow this organization's trail all the way to the cave where the beast was hidden, and where they performed their disgusting sacrificial rituals in its honor. With all of the DNA samples now in our possession, we only have to put the pieces of the puzzle together to unveil the secrets of the X-Creatures project.
Finally, the time of reckoning is upon us. I still think we should perform a few more tests first. Why? I don't see how we could make her worse than she already is. I've waited long enough. Get on with it. The serum seems to be working.
Shelley.
So it was her.
I was afraid this might happen. The initial transformation has caused too much damage. I'm sorry, but I don't think she's going to make it. And from the creature emerges the creator.
You bastard! You forced her to do this to herself.
What are you hiding behind that mask?
What kind of monster are you?
Shut up! I've seen enough of you two. Get rid of them.